Well, hello, hello, hello. Time for another episode of Make Art with Mrs. M. I'm glad you could be with me today. I wanted to talk to you about an artist that I love. His name is Piet Mondrian. I love the colors that he uses. I love the simplicity. I love that sometimes the titles of his works make you think of music, like this one, Broadway, Boogie, Woogie. And it makes me feel like moving. I can feel rhythm, the way that he used the shapes and the colors. Yes. So today I want to focus on Piet Mondrian. These two styles that he has. Yes. I'm going to use markers. I'm going to use crayons. I already have them pulled out, ready to go. Oh, I need a black. Okay. So I folded my paper in half because one half of my paper is going to show one style. The other half will show the other. I'm going to start with the style that shows the horizontal lines along with the vertical lines and just one section colored with primary colors. That's what I like about Piet Mondrian. He liked to keep it simple. Now, I'm not using a ruler, but if you have a ruler, that'd be great. But I am using this marker that has a cone tip, which makes it easy for me to make broad or wide, thick lines. So here I go. I'm going to go across the page. Oh my, it's time for a new black marker. That looks sad. Let me see if my other one works better. I have more than one. This is a color that tends to run out a lot, doesn't it? It runs out a lot. Oh, this one's better. All right, this one's better. Let me go over that first one. Okay, problem solved. Whew. Okay, I'm trying to make sure that I keep it simple. Straight lines that are horizontal and vertical, which creates rectangles and squares on the page. And there, I'm done. I'm done. I think that's enough. I think that's enough. I'm going to use crayons for this part, so coloring is the fun part for me. I'm going to use the three primary colors, red, yellow, and blue. So I think I'm going to choose this area to be red. In some of his paintings, one color would be dominant in the paintings, meaning it was the color that was used the most, or it was the color that took up the most space against the white in between the black lines. I think Piet Mondrian had a little thing going where he didn't use the same color as the dominant color every time. In some of his paintings, red was the dominant color, in some, blue was the dominant color, and some, it was yellow. I just like the satisfaction of color with crayons. It just, I think red will be my dominant color today. So now I'm doing one that's blue. And let's see, I'll do one that's yellow right here. I'm thinking the red one is the dominant color. It looks like it's the biggest space. But if I measure this and calculate the area of these spaces, do a little math, it might be the yellow. Not quite sure. But there, that's as simple as it gets with Mr. Piet Mondrian, right? Okay, for this side, I'm going to flip it. And this time, having used my crayons and I'm done with black, I'm only going to be using these colors. The primary colors, red, yellow, and blue. And I'm going to focus on Broadway, Boogie, Woogie. I love that title. To me, this looks like a map. It looks like city streets with cars or people moving. up and down the street in between buildings. Yes, has a certain rhythm to it. Now the painting does have some white, but it has some white little squares. But I think for today we'll just concentrate on the yellow, red, and blue. So Broadway Boogie Woogie again starts with horizontal and vertical lines. If I didn't know any better, I would think Piet Mondrian was a man who was very orderly. He liked to have things in a certain order in a certain way. And artists can be that way, be very particular about their things. Some artists are kind of messy and disorganized, but I have a feeling Piet Mondrian was always, always organized. Okay, and one more down here. Yes. So what happens in Broadway Boogie Woogie, it's like the little cars are moving up and down the street. So I'm going to add like little blue squares and rectangles along these yellow roads. And I'm not going to put all of them so close together. So I'm starting with all of the little roads that are vertical. And I'm using the side of this marker to make my marks. There. Already that just looks really pretty to me. I like it. Now I'm going to turn in this direction and add some going the other way. Broadway Boogie Woogie has a rhythm. Some artists have this ability or this condition called synesthesia, where when they see colors, they hear music. And sometimes when you look at things like this, it makes you feel like you can hear music. Is this red? Yes, this is red. Just making sure I didn't pick up the wrong marker. Oh, now it's really going to start looking great. Broadway Boogie Woogie. This is so fun. Just by using the primary colors. Voila. Wow. It's like it's vibrating. See, it's coming together. It's coming together. So now I'm going to add a few buildings. And the buildings are just squares and rectangles with the primary colors in them. So I'm going to do that now. So I'll add a rectangle here. And sometimes inside the rectangle there's another rectangle or a square. Some of them I might leave white because I did see that a few times. They had a white area in the middle. This looks great. Now this blue looks, now that I'm drawing this blue on top of the white paper, this blue looks a little different and brighter than the blue that I did on top of the yellow. I guess that couldn't be helped. Since we are using markers for this. Broadway, Boogie, Woogie. Fantastic. And there's no triangles, there's no angles, there's no triangle roofs on these buildings. Like the buildings in a big city would just have a few tall buildings. Most of them don't have the roof. Their buildings are probably all having the flat roof. Cool, huh? I like it. And there I go. I think I'm going to stop. I don't want it to get too crowded. Well, cities can be crowded, but the primary colors with Piet Mondrian. That was fun today to experience what it's like to make art just using the primary colors. I hope you had fun today. I enjoyed it. I hope you did too.